Buckle up, people, you're in for a ride. It really shouldn't be this hard to get set up for a vlog or a podcast, but I couldn't find my phone. I had to get Ted to ring it, and it was in the airing cupboard. Don't ask. All right, well, here I am. I feel really out of practice. I might have to put a post-it note over my screen so that I don't keep looking at myself. I've got myself a nice cup of tea, because that's what you do. This one is maple tea from Canada, and between Annette and Myoka, I keep well stocked up with this maple tea, and I love it. It's just delicious. So Myoka made this pinny. It's this crossback pinny, and it's got a nice pocket. Oh, the light is awful today because it's really windy and rainy, and there's a lot of noise out there. Hold on. The weather is not gardening weather, which is why I'm able to sit here and chat to you and hopefully do a massive catch up. I feel like there's loads of stuff that I want to record here, and I've got too much to do it all in a oneer, but I'm going to give it a good crack. Give the crack of a whip, whack of a crap of a whip. What is the phrase? Give it a good crack of the whip. That's right, that is the phrase. So I'm sitting here in my awfully messy craft room. But you know, creative spaces, they have to be messy, don't they? I'm actually creating something completely outrageous at the moment. I'm doing a quilt for a friend for her birthday, and we have got polar opposite taste. And whilst I appreciate her taste and absolutely love it, I can't live in it because my brain is always on fire. There we go. Look at these colours. It's K Facet fabric, and I'm just doing the most simple quilt. They're just 5-inch squares sewn together, and then I'll quilt it so that the I'll quilt it so that there's a line along there and a line along there, all the way up, and then there and there. Oh, I'll show you when it's done. Now I've muddled up all my notes. I'm 3 minutes in and I've not said anything I needed to. So as I mentioned before, Myoka and Annette keep me topped up in this maple tea. Now Annette Kingsley, she won the bumper cozy raffle that I did in, wasn't January, was it? Was it January? End of January. And we're now in May. No. When did I run that? It's time for another raffle. I aim to do 4 a year because if you've not been here before, just have a quick read in the description below why I do the raffles. I don't want to go on and on and on. I don't want to bang on about it. I'm sure people are sick of me. In fact, I can't believe people are still participating. Each time I do a raffle, I think, oh, this is never going to be successful. I think everybody's given all they can give, and I haven't found new subscribers and new followers, so I haven't got new people to who are prepared to give it a punt. But each time you guys just come up trumps, and I figure it's not for me to decide whether a raffle is going to be successful or not. It's not up to me. I just have to put it out there and just hope for the best. So, as you know, I don't feel comfortable doing them, but I force myself to do them because as much as there are elements of it that I absolutely love, the school really needs the money. Now, the focus for the last raffle was for the playground to have secure fencing because they wanted a safe area for the children to be able to run around because they've moved premises. So, and because of COVID, nothing went smoothly. And so it was quite a priority. Anyway, superbly, they managed to get I don't know all the details, but they got the money from somewhere. I think it was a grant that they were given. So they were able to do phase 1 of the safe playground over Easter. And now they're stuck because there's an issue with planning and the local authorities. So we've shifted the focus now from the fundraising. I spoke to the headmaster. Well, he rang me up and he said, Gaynor, you know how you always need a focus for your fundraising. Could the focus this time be IT? We need a device for every child. There's 40 children. Actually, there's more children now because they've moved premises. They've taken on more children. I feel so overwhelmed and just want to hide in my box. But I will do it. Not least, I've got things in my cupboard that need raffling off because people just sent them. They just, out of the kindness of their heart, they just sent them. But the postman came and there's these raffle prizes. So even if I decided, no, that's it, I just can't, anxiety-wise, handle these raffles anymore. Kind of the control is out of my hands now because I've been sent these amazing prizes. I must raffle them off. But also, I've been offered so many nice things that I want to honour that offer. I don't know what I'm talking about. But in a nutshell, I'm trying to talk myself into getting my act together. I haven't been feeling great this year, I have to be honest, and a blood test showed that I was very low in certain brain health vitamins and minerals. So I've been taking them and feeling so much the better for it. So I just need to bide my time and I'll be back to full power, back to my sparkly best. I've made notes. Let me have a look. I've been gardening an enormous amount. We decided to put in a new flower bed. We just thought, oh, it would be nice to have a flower bed there along that wall at the front of the house. So let's do that. That won't be a big job. No. It took me weeks. I did it in the no-dig way, which I was introduced to last year when the kids and I were making our victory garden when we were all in lockdown. And a few people said, like I'd given myself tennis elbow doing this. A few people said, oh, why didn't you do it the no-dig way? It's so much easier. And at the time, A, I didn't know about it, and B, I couldn't get cardboard anywhere, and because we weren't allowed out, and you couldn't get compost for love nor money because everybody was making a garden. So this year I thought, oh, make a flower bed. It'll be fine. It won't take me long. All it takes is a bit of cardboard and a bit of compost. Well, it took me ages. The flower bed is bigger than my bedroom. It's 21, I'm trying to remember how many foot paces it was and what that equated to. I think it is 21 metres square. Yeah. No. So let's say on average it's 2 metres deep and it is 21 metres long. The deepest part is 3.5 metres, but then it tapers out. It's sort of in in a half, not an oval, what do they call it? Sharp oval, you know, like, hang on. It's that shape. So it's 3.5 meters deep there. And it took ages. And I was the grumpiest, crabbiest old crow the entire time. So moody. And probably because I'd just spent weeks clearing out another kind of flower border shrubbery area that hadn't been touched since we moved in. We moved in 16 years ago, and we hadn't really done anything with it since. So everything had just gone mad. It was full of brambles, full of ivy. It was just a total mess. I had a chap round and he did a whole heap of chopping down shrubs and bushes in one area, and then oh wow, I ran out of budget really, so I had to do the rest myself, and I was in such a foul mood. But it is now looking great, and I just feel so much more cheerful now that that's over. So some highlights in the garden are these. These are our Japanese maples. They're in fact I think all of them are presents that either I or Toby's mum have brought him over the years, but obviously he doesn't look after them. I do all the looking after. He loves them though, and he'd like to get more, so I imagine in July we'll have some more. Look at the colour on that one. It's just so beautiful. I've pressed some of these leaves. These are little miniature daffodils in a zinc planter. They're so sunny. This is Clematis Maline, and it's got a slight scent to it, and it's just beginning to open. This is a pot clematis called Tranquility, which did badly last year, as did this, which is some sort of viburnum. But this year, they're all looking better. In fact, this whole kitchen patio area is a joy. This is a Choicea White Dazzler. It smells nice. This is a Brunnera that my friend gave me. These are perennial tulips. They're just going over now. It was a beautiful day when I recorded this. And the greenhouse is going pretty well, but I've had a few failures, as you do. I had my sweet corn didn't germinate very well, so I had to redo that. My salads haven't germinated very well. There's been a lot of things that just haven't really gone to plan, but that's fine. There's still time, and it has been very, very dry and very, very cold. Generally, the base temperature is quite cold. When the sun is out, it's lovely. Very nice temperature. But in germinating speak, the ground hasn't warmed up enough. So it's nice today that it's raining. I'm twirling in my chair because I can't help myself. It's nice today that it's raining, and although it is windy and it does feel cold, the actual base temperature isn't too bad. So I think the garden is going to get going pretty well. And in the house, oh, it's all gone bananas. Even my avocado stone has grown. I've tried so many times to grow a plant from an avocado stone. I've been doing it that way, where you have the 3 cocktail sticks and you pop it in a jar and you have it just touching water, and it never ever worked for me. But then I saw something on Pinterest, one of these like 5-minute craft things, where you wrap it up in a wet bit of fabric or tissue or whatever, and then you put it in a container of some sort, and you put it somewhere warm for a week. And I did that, and it sprouted. It had a massive root. So I planted that, and now I've got this tiny little leaf stick coming up. this one was a tiny, tiny little snippet, about that big, from Jooles about 6 months ago. And it's grown like you just wouldn't believe, but it's got scorched by the sun in the last couple of weeks, so I've moved it, but it's recovering really well. Honestly, it's becoming like a jungle in here. An oxalis of all sprouted flowers. And this one, I just can't believe it, because it went into dormancy and it didn't look like it was ever going to come out of dormancy. So I thought, right, let's just rootle around, unearth it, see what the corms are doing. So I broke up all the corms and I replanted them the correct way around, because there's definitely an upside down. And within a week it went from nothing to obviously not this big, because this is about 2 weeks old now. But the growth was unbelievable. Look at that, it's huge. And this is another little snippet that Jooles sent me that's going mad. If it's not you creeping up on me, it's the fridge making a noise. She is whinging, and that thing is playing music, dropping the F-bomb all the time, and stinking like great big toe pats. And it's even started, look, it's got a lot of fibre coming up from the ground there. It's like a jungle. I've finished my quilt, the blue and white one that I did out of Tobys shirts. I hand quilted it and it took me ages, but I am so happy with it. And now the dogs sit in the chair where it is, and Margot's going to wreck it in no time because she digs it. She just digs and digs and digs. So I might have to rethink the positioning of that, because I do love it. It is lovely. And I am making a second one. Oh, I can show you. Slightly different design though. So here's the second one. I haven't got very far. But I'm a bit, well, I'm not tired of it, but I've got this zappy quilt to do now, and I'm just not doing it. I'll get back to it. My mum's got an amazing quilting setup. She's got this incredible craft room, and she's ordering this big Q frame or something. And you basically, from what I can understand, is you stick your sewing machine in it, and then you move this entire frame around, so you can do really quite intricate free motion embroidery and quilting. But she's also got a really wide throat quilting machine, and so she said that she'll just quilt that for me. I just want diagonals, same as I've done my other quilt. Really simple, nothing fancy. She said she'd just throw that together for me. So that'd be nice, because it'll be a collaboration between us. I tried to wake up my sourdough a few months ago, my sourdough starter, and it just did not want to revive. I was feeding it for days and it just was stinky and awful. So I gave up. Threw most of it away, but I kept a little bit, thinking, oh, I'd give it another go when it's warmer. And when I opened it up at the beginning of the week, it was awful. It was so disgusting. Black mould and this sort of weird soupy kind of white sludge mould. It was definitely full of pathogens, I think. So I chucked it, and it stank out the whole kitchen. It was so smelly. And I started again from scratch. So I got 25 grams of rye flour and 25 grams of room temperature filtered water, mixed it together. The next day I did exactly the same, and I did exactly that for 5 days, and by the end of 5 days I had bubbly, gorgeous sourdough starter. And I'm obviously out of practice because I did my sourdough loaf and it's turned out ever such a funny wee shape. It's really funny, and I think it's all down to the fact that I just, you know, I've kind of forgotten what I'm doing. I've stopped doing the way that I originally did my sourdough, and I did a tutorial on that, and I had a video here which still exists, but I've put it as a linked video only because since getting into sourdough I've just found a more convenient way, a better way for me, a way that produces a better sourdough loaf. So I've moved on from that, but and the reason why I've made it a linked video, so if you want it just let me know and I'll give you the link, is because I had a comment on my on the tutorial that was, wow, I laughed so much. It didn't upset me at all, but they tore to shreds my sourdough tutorial. And the best bit of it was they said that my video was odious and it should not be on the internet because it would just encourage people to make vile sourdoughs and waste lots of ingredients. So I thought, ooh, I better pull it, because actually a lot of these points, although delivered very harshly, I did agree with. But then I was chatting to some friends and they said, well, your way of doing sourdough is the only way that I make sourdough and it turns out great every time. So that's why I've got it as a linked sourdough, because it worked really well for me for years. I'm just enjoying a different way, and it works really well for a lot of my friends. And I've been linked on lots of Instagram posts where people have tried out the method and it's produced beautiful loaves for them as well. But this particular lady, who hilariously, when I shared her comment with a couple of my mates on WhatsApp, one of them did a bit of super sleuthing and they tracked her down on Instagram, and she'd got the most pitiful sourdough loaf on there where it had all gone wrong. And that loaf was just before she'd sent this diatribe on my video. And it was and also there was another thing on there about how everybody is fighting their own battle, so just be kind, which was literally within days of her leaving this nasty comment on my videos. You do wonder sometimes what's going on with people. Poor thing. Kind of felt like she needed a cuddle. Oh, my tea just went down the wrong hole. I was going to do April vlogs. I had really good intentions to do April vlogs, and then I realised that it was the 1st of April that I decided I was going to do April vlogs, and then on the 2nd of April I picked up my phone to do some vlogging, and I just thought, God, this is so dull. It's because I was in such a bad gardening mood. I was the furious gardener. So April vlogs just didn't happen. Everything felt repetitive and boring and hard work and miserable and just not shareable. And I wasn't enjoying my days at all. So I didn't want to have to relive my day whilst editing. Does that make sense? And then I had this massive sense of overwhelm. I just felt so overwhelmed by everything that needed doing, everything that was going on, just with everyone and with everything and with all the changes and with the COVID and with everybody feeling so depleted by it. And April just felt like a really my brain was just so full. I felt I couldn't take on a single other thing. And I knew that I was shooting myself in the foot, because when I vlog, I'm able to see things in my life that sometimes pass me by, and that makes my sense of gratitude magnified. It magnifies my sense of gratitude, but also all the interaction with you guys, with all the comments, just gives me a boost and gives me a lift. And I really like to be able to chat back. I try to answer every comment, but I just knew that that would add to my sense of overwhelm, and that I was struggling to find time, because even when I did have time, my brain was racing. It was going 10 to the dozen, and it felt like I didn't have any time, which was ridiculous. What's the word I'm after? It wasn't the truth, it's just how it felt, you know. It was my perception of the way it was. It wasn't actual, but I wasn't in a very logical place. I was fine, but just a bit, whoa! So I decided I wasn't going to vlog. And to that end, I decided to have a bit of a break from social media. So I put limits on my apps, of how long I could spend on apps. Not things where I was interacting with friends, so WhatsApp, for example, and not things that I was using like Audible and podcasts. I didn't put a time limit on them. I put a time limit on Instagram of half an hour and a time limit on Pinterest of half an hour. And it's been so good for me. I also turned off messages on my Instagram stories. I did a little story just to say, look guys, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just, you know, having a bit of a break from the old socials. And I turned off my messages there because I just needed to back right off. Nothing personal to anybody out there. I'm not getting trolled. I'm not, no one's putting any pressure on me or anything. I just needed it to all be very, very quiet. My brain has been so scattered and cluttered. And I think it's because my house has been cluttered, because the charity shops haven't been open, and the boys have been growing out of their clothes, and they've been growing up and moving on from toys. So I've just been needing to get things out of the house, and I haven't been able to get things out of the house. So everything was just making me feel scattered and cluttered, and I just needed it all to zip it. So I just put my phone down. It was really nice and really good for me. And yes, I missed it, but it just felt like a bit of a holiday. And I'm back now and I'm ready to go. I'm raring to go. Everything's groovy. The lovely thing is that I've been reading more because of having limits on Instagram and Pinterest. In the evenings at night time, I've been reading more. If I'm up to bed before Toby, and I can have the bedside light on, I've been reading a book that Alicia sent me. Thanks, Alicia. Called, oh, what's it called? It's completely gone out of my head what it's called, because I can see the front cover. It's you can't see the person, but they're holding a big laundry basket, and the author is called Nina Stibbe, or Stibe, S-T-I-B-B-E, and it's letters that she sent her sister during the 80s when she was nannying for a family in a nice part of London, and all about the characters that come in and out of their daily life, and I'm really enjoying it, and I can't remember what it's called. And then when Toby comes up to bed, I switch to my Kindle, and I'm reading A Diary of a Provincial Lady, which is of a similar ilk to the Nina Stibe book, in that it's daily entries rather than letters. It's daily entries, and it's quite a witty. My vocabulary is always just here. It's never here. It's just here, just out of my grasp. It's a witty observation. That's not the word I'm after, but it's an observation of how life was for a lady in the 1930s between the wars, who was upper middle class, but struggling a bit for money. And I'm really enjoying that. It's funny, and it's quite, well, I like his things from the past. I'm interested in how people lived on a practical level in the past. So it's just amazing to see how things have changed in the last 100 years, just with things like you could write a cheque and post date it, and a letter to explain to a company why you're in arrears on your account. Well, you couldn't do that today, could you? Nope. I've read and enjoyed, but it was a bit of a throwaway novel, a book called The Authenticity Project. I enjoyed it in many ways, but when it finished, I felt, on reflection, there were a lot of gaps. There were questions I had unanswered. There were characters' lives, things about them that I felt could have been explored a bit more. I felt like the book was 4 chapters too short, but I did enjoy it. But it's not one that I'm going to remember in 2-3 years' time. I've been listening to all of the L.M. Montgomery collection, Anne of Green Gables, all the way through, and loved it so much that I started listening to it again immediately, right from the start. I just can't get enough. I can't get enough. So I'm interspersing that with well, I've just finished yesterday Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and that, if you enjoyed Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, you'll enjoy that. It's a bit like, what would life be like if you had made a different decision? So for me, what would my life be like if I hadn't opened that email from Toby all those years ago? What would my life be like if I had taken art GCSE instead of music? What would my life be like if my dad wasn't in the Navy and we didn't move around as much? What would my life be like if Toby hadn't become great friends with a chap whose family dog was a toy poodle, and therefore I wouldn't have little Poggy? I better get Pog, because Fleur, well, you'll be upset, won't you, Fleur? If you don't get to see her, you'll be upset. Bunny is on a dog walk. She will fly in. I expect she'll be back in about 10 minutes, and she will fly in, and Bunny fans will see her then. Come on, little small. Little small. Little small. Small Margot. Look at her. Oh, you went to the groomers last week, didn't you? Because it was quite sunny. They trimmed your hair a bit short. And then I had to keep you in because I was worried about you getting sunburn. Yeah. Because we've got to look after you, haven't we? She's going to be 8 this year. 8 in October. Oh, darling. She's going very grey. But toy poodles, they often get to their early 20s. So I think we've got her for a good while yet. Your ancestors, her bloodline, I think they're long-lived. And if it's anything to go by, how well they're looked after and how well they're loved, then you'll probably get to 50, won't you? Oh, can you hear her? She's, oh, dear little thing. What's next in my book then, Pog? Do you want to walk down the bridge and go back? I can walk down my legs and go back on that chair. See if she will. Look, is she going to walk down my legs? She's so funny. Oh, got to try and get that where it was. Yeah, so Midnight Library, very much enjoyed that. And I read that because my friend Lizzie, whose 40th birthday is today, let me just sort this out a sec. She recommended it, and I know that some people have loved it and some people have absolutely hated it. Look, all my clothes have fallen to pieces. But you know me, I like to wear my clothes out, and I like to buy second hand, and charity shops have not been open, and I've not been wanting to go shopping. And I just find white t-shirts, if you buy them on eBay second hand, sometimes they're just a bit grey and a bit manky. But these days, if I'm going to buy t-shirts, I buy organic cotton or linen, or recycled cotton or linen. So anyway, I'll just wear this with the hole, or I might sew it up. Yeah, I'll darn that. I'll sew that. I won't darn it. I'll just sew it up. So I finished Midnight Library at tea time yesterday when I was peeling the carrots, and I went straight on to The Beekeeper of Aleppo, and I'm not sure I can stick with it. It's about, don't start digging, it's about Syria, and I'm in the first or second chapter. It's about people displaced from, stop it Margot, people displaced from Syria and what they lived through with the civil war, and it's harrowing. And actually I do feel that people who are absolutely anti-asylum seekers and just roar that we should just send them all back, then they need to read this book. I mean, for heaven's sake, we're all human, aren't we? We're all human. This is why I have such a problem with female inequality, with minorities being persecuted, with the Black Lives Matter movement, how important that is, because we are all human beings on this earth, and what gives one person a right over and above another person. I just think that you got to live and let live, and live in a morally acceptable way. I don't get political on here, do I? Ever. I don't talk about my political leanings. I keep it all very nicey on here. But just so you know, if we were down the pub, I might not be able to find the words that I want, but I would find the emotion and the enthusiasm, and I would keep on going until I'd express myself properly. That's what, as Mrs. Rachel Lynde would say. What else is on my book to tell you about? I'll just do a bit of a family update, and then talk to you about what's in my knitting basket then. So this light's not very good. It's not been very good the whole time, but is that a bit better? Can you hear the wind coming down my chimney? I killed the plant that was in there. It was a maidenhair fern and it was going great guns. And then I saved the spray bottles from, I used this eco-friendly trigger spray bottle for cleaning the shower. Well, you know, you spray the shower in between. Because it's an old house, we can get quite prone to mould. So I can hear Bunny's back, and because it's been raining, she's gonna come flying in here and she's gonna be muddy, so I've got to get ready to catch her. I got the wrong bottle and I actually sprayed my plant with the shower cleaner, not the one that I just put water in, and I killed it. I know I was talking about something before I went off on a tangent about the wind coming down the chimney and the plant that I killed, and Bunny coming in. No, I can't remember. So update then. Ted is going great guns at school. He got stabbed between the fingers right up like that with a pitchfork with pig poo on it. But he's healing from that, so that's absolutely fine. That's off the back of him having to have an operation on his finger because he's got metal in there. He's constantly covered in cow poo and he stinks, but he is happy as Larry. His new favourite place to sit is on the simmering plate with the lid down on the Aga. So the smell of warm cow poo pervades the kitchen all the time. Then, let's see, Wilfred is a cheeky chap, very happy child. Wilf had to go to school today. It's bank holiday Monday, but his school has an open day. I don't think they've got an open day today, but the teachers and everyone's contracted to work today. So all the kids went in anyway, which is a proper shame. But then they kind of miss so much school that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. I'm surprised Bunny hasn't run in yet. Wilfred is, we have discovered he has a talent for sprinting. He is extremely fast. He's in year 5 and he's pretty much the fastest in the school, and he's not a tall boy. You'd sort of expect the tall kids with the longer gait to be able to run the fastest, but he's like the wind. So that's actually quite exciting. And he loves it, so that would be lovely if he could pursue that in some way. Bill is doing brilliantly. His sense of humour is really honing now. I was at the skate park with him and Wilf yesterday, and Bill was at the skate park area and Wilf and I were on the seesaw. And because I'm loads heavier than Wilfred, I wasn't sitting on the seat because Wilf was always up in the air. I was the other side of the seat, holding on to the handle on like the bar, and I was doing this, and Bill was at the top of the skate park, like the top of the ramp, and he looked over and he went, "What on earth am I looking at here?" It was the way he said it, and everyone in the park giggled. Because there he was with his great big... Here she comes. Hello! 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 Look how muddy you are. Look how muddy you are. Oh! Look at you. Oh, your little tail's wagging like that. Can't get it on the camera. There's a wagging tail. It's a Jappy girl. She scratched my eyeball last night. Oh, didn't it ever hurt? I was really worried because I couldn't see for a bit and I couldn't open my eye, but it's fine, isn't it? It's because you wanted your treat, so you were climbing on me and clawing at me because you aren't a bully. She's such a bully, honestly.
Oh.
What?
There's muck on this carpet.
Yes, it's
dirty.
Yes, she is. She's filthy. Leave it to dry and it'll hoover up. But yeah, she's filthy. I had a delivery the other day from eBay. It was a little paraffin lamp. It came in a box with loads of, I don't know why, they'd used all these plastic recycle bags from somewhere in Cardiff. Maybe they've changed their recycling system. So they used these plastic bags. I thought I'll keep them because I never use plastic bags. I don't buy plastic bags. But sometimes you do need a plastic bag. So if you ever give me something in a plastic bag, even if it's a sandwich bag, I wash it and I hoard it. I know. It makes me look like a proper cheapskate, but it's not about being cheap. It's just about keeping it out of landfill. Anyway, Bunny has taken to sleeping in this box in front of the Argo with these plastic bags, so it's just going to have to stay there now. I've got to find a new school for Bill. He's got the rest of this year and then next year and then that's it. He's got to go to a new school and I'm devastated about that because we love his school. I think I found one not too far away that can accommodate his needs, so I need to investigate that, but that's another thing that makes me want to put my head in the sand. I'm terrible for procrastinating and putting my head in the sand. I need to just crack on with these things. Have you been cleaned now? You still don't look that clean, Bun. Toby's been wearing Invisalign aligners since before Christmas, I think, and he's got to the point now where his teeth are looking really straight. So every time I clap eyes on him, he goes like this. He's doing it now. Come and show you.
Yeah. Oh, it was really cold when I went out to start with, now it's boiling.
It's windy, but the air temperature is quite nice. Come on, show them your teeth.
No.
Come on. Come and smile.
No.
Yeah, come on.
No.
Come on.
Can't.
Why not?
Shy.
He's not shy. I'll catch him later. In fact, you might have seen his teeth when I showed you a little clip I recorded of a houseplant just now. Okay, knitting. It's meant to be a knitting podcast, isn't it? Well, it's not really. As you know, well, you might not. Where are my blockers? Here we are. Oh, I've got really big feet, so my socks never quite fit the blockers. Talking of fit and socks, right? I struggle to get my socks to fit me sometimes. I either make them just slightly too small or slightly too big. I have had 2 people send me socks in my life. One of them's Jodie, Tatty Cats and Yarny Tails. She was the first. And that's because one night I did a live Instagram and she joined me and I demanded she knit me some socks. I'd had far too much wine. But anyway, she knitted me these socks. They were amazing. They fitted so well. Oh, look at the state of me. They fitted so well and they're absolutely beautiful. The yarn's by Down Sheepy Lane and they're just lovely. I can't show you them, they're in the wash. And then, out of the blue, I had a pair of socks knitted and sent to me by Karen, Photo 3P. And these ones were a pattern by Olivia, This Handmade Life. Can't remember the name of it. Sorry, dog started barking. They're in the wash, so I can't show you those. And they fitted like a dream. And then for my birthday, Karen sent these ones. Oh, hang on. doing? Honestly. I'm like Norman Wisdom. So, I just can't believe that I've had 3 pairs of socks knitted for me that fit me so well. And yet I've got pretty big feet for a girl. They're a size, well, in some shoes I'm a 7, which I think is a US 9. In flip-flops I'm a 6, 6.5. It's because I've got quite flat feet. So in flip-flops, if they're too big, you know, the bit that comes between your toe and over, then they just fall off my feet. And I'll be walking along and my flip-flop will fly off my foot. Oh, that's my flip-flop. Anyway, that's why my socks are always too big for the blocker. But these do fit like a dream. It's Jooles Hill, you know, So Sweet Violet. It's her Flossie sock, named after her, I think her daughter. I think her father-in-law called her daughter Flossie. So yeah, they're named after Bryony. We've got this gorgeous detail. This looks really complicated, doesn't it? It's not. It's just it's sort of a knit 2 together with a twist, and a slip knit with a twist. And once you get going with it, it's absolutely fine. And what I've started doing, it's only a 4 row repeat. And what I've started doing is every time I do the row that's got the twisted stitches, just put my little bulb pin in, and then I just count 4 rows. Then I do the twisted stitch again. Oh, they look like canoes, don't they? Massive. They look like a... I must look really funny. I must look like a great big L shape. So I'm on the home straight with these. How far have I got left to go then? Let's see. So that goes up to there. So that's to there. Let's see. I'm not far off starting the cuff then. Oh, goody. Because I'm dying to wear these while we still can, because shortly the weather is going to get too warm for hand knit socks and boots. Yeah, look, I've only got that much. And then the cuff. And although the cuff is a lot slower because there's a lot of twisted stitches there, because it's so pleasing, makes you feel fancy, goes by really quickly. I've got loads of... I'm so bad at sticking to my own rules. About 3 years ago I said, right, that's it, I'm not buying any more yarn, I'm just going to knit from stash. And I've never done it. I've never managed to. I always end up buying more yarn, and it's either because I get completely pulled in, and then I even end up breaking my own eco rules. Terrible. Or I just really want to support the person that's dyeing the yarn because I love them, or I love or they're my friends, and you know, oh, I look a mess. Or it's local, or it's naturally dyed. Oh. So I'll just tell you about my next thing I've got on the needles, and then if you're not interested in what people buy, if you're just not here for like the QVC shopping channel, then I'll say goodbye. But if you are interested to see what I've bought, then stick around. So next on the needles then is my girlfriend cardigan by Ankrstrikke, who I'm knitting alongside my friend Kathryn from Bed of Roses. That's what it's gonna look like. It's hard to show you without. I'll insert a picture so that you can see what it looks like. It's a paid for pattern, but it's not horrendously expensive. And in my usual style, did I tell you I'm doing it as a side-by-side knit along, no pressure with Kathryn? I did, didn't I think we're both at roughly the same stage now, except she's knitted hers longer, almost down to her knee, or is intending to. She hasn't got that far. And I was knitting mine a bit shorter, and I'm including pockets and she isn't. It's really quite an adaptable pattern in that way. And I am knitting it with the wrong yarn, with the wrong needle size. So I'm following all the instructions, but I've knitted a bigger size. So I'm knitting, I think I'm knitting an extra large, whereas I would have knitted a medium. So I've got the width. And then the armhole on the schematic, if I'd knitted the rows that it says to knit, it would have come to here. I should do it on this arm so you can't see that hole in my armhole. So I had to keep on knitting to get to the measurements, and it's come along quite nice. This is the back. You've got this I-cord edge. You knit an I-cord and then you pick up from it, and I have never done that before. Oh, I really like it. I really like the effect. Let's slip this thing on. So I'm at the point now where it's not looking its best because it needs a blocking. Actually, do you know what? Feeling it now, I think I'm definitely gonna do that. But my cast off is not stretchy enough. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to unravel that cast off. It's too tight, it's going to get ripped. Yeah, it'll be so much better after a block. And when I've redone, if I redo the cast off, it's not going to bum hug. I don't like that shape. So I've got pockets. They're little stocking stitch pockets, and they're not hugely deep, but they're deep enough to be able to put a few bits and bobs in. I like to be able to put things in my pockets, so that's great. And this is going to stretch a little, I imagine, because it's alpaca. The wool I'm using, it's Juniper Moon Herriot Fine. You got this faux seam detail down the side. So you knit the back down to your armpit hole, and then you knit each side down to the armpit hole, and then you knit backwards and forwards, and it's all garter stitch. Next, I need to pick up stitches from this I-cord edging. So the I-cord edging is integrated in the pattern, much the same as how it is on the habitation throw. And so I'll pick up the stitches here, and then you continue with a faux seam down there, I think, or is it a faux seam along there? Or it might be both. And you knit it in the round, but in garter stitch. So you do a round of knit and a round of purl. And then you just got this very sloppy cardigan. That has been a really good exercise trying that on, because it's made me see that I have knitted it to the length that I want, and I definitely need to redo that bind off. Well, that's all right, it won't take too long. Mind you, unravelling this is a bit of a nuisance. It's quite a fluffy yarn. I was just trying to find the ticket that goes around it, the ball band, but I can't. But anyway, this is the yarn. Look, can you see? It's got a bit of fluff. It's got a bit of fluff to it. A little halo. So it can sometimes be a bit difficult to unpick. But that won't bother me. I do not mind sewing in ends, and I do not mind unravelling and re-knitting, because I figure I like hand stitching, so sewing in ends is not a problem, and I like knitting, so knitting is knitting. As long as I'm knitting, I'm happy. When I was rummaging then for my ball band, I found my spinning. So I met up with Claire and Bex. So Oh, that reminds me. Brilliant. Come back to that. Mustn't forget. Write that down. Oh, I'm making such a mess of this. This is the third go. I met up with my friends Claire and Bex. They're sisters. Bex has the podcast Bex Creates and is Beki Norman on Instagram. And Claire is the yarn dyer with her husband John. They were formerly Mr. B's Yarns and now they are Bird Street UK. I might have got that wrong. It's on the screen. Anyway, Bex has got a lovely summer house in her garden, so we went there. It was so warm and lovely, and we had lunch, and Claire brought her spinning wheel and some fibre for me to spin with, and I made some yarn. That was Margot then. I made yarn. And I was rubbish at it. I started off not too bad, and as the day progressed, I got worse. So this was my first yarn that I made, albeit one of the plies was one that Claire had done, and then the other one, the bad one, is the one that I did, and we plied it together. Look at that. And made yarn. Oh, I was just loving it. And then we tried plying two of my yarns together, and it was a bit bad. Look at that, really skinny. I don't know if this is focusing. Really skinny and really fat. Anyway, I absolutely loved it. So I had thought to myself, oh, I'll put a spinning wheel on my birthday wish list. Because although I know that it would be more of a winter project for me, I thought if I got it for my birthday, I'd be ready to do it when the winter hit in. Whereas if I waited for Christmas, I'd miss part of the winter months in order to spin. But then I got the willy wobbles about it, and I put it on my wish list, and I don't know if Toby saw it, and he might have already bought it, in which case, brilliant, I'll go with it. But now I've got the willy wobbles, and I'm thinking, willy wobbles? Where did I get that from? I meant collie wobbles. But it's just, like I was saying before, I feel like my home is cluttered, my head is cluttered, and I sort of don't want to bring anything in, which is why I do develop anxiety around my birthday and Christmas, because I know things are going to come in, things that I want as well, you know, and lovely gifts from lovely friends. But then I think to myself, oh, but the house is bursting at the seams. Not right in the head, I swear. So the thing that I was going to say, and I didn't want to forget to tell you about, is Bex has brought out a new sock pattern. Oh, I know how I can show you. I was thinking, well, I won't be able to show you because I can't remember any of the details off the top of my head. And I'm recording on my phone, so I can't use that to look up. But I've got my trusty iPad here. Now, Toby made my day the other day, and I'm a funny old bean because I was getting really upset because my iPad kept saying not enough storage, and I kept deleting things, and I couldn't stop it from chatting to the iCloud, so it kept getting all these photographs and videos from my phone, and that was making the problem even worse. And oh, it was all just becoming really tricky. And I said to Toby one night when he was deep into, what's that called, Line of Duty. If you've been watching that, you'll know why I chose the worst moment to talk to Toby about my storage issues on my iPad. Anyway, he was like, well, I don't know. Shush, I'm watching this. And I just feel so overwhelmed, and I don't understand what the internet's telling me how to fix my problem, and I'm such a Luddite. And I was getting my knickers in a twist. Anyway, the next day, without me saying anything, he just came in and said to me, he had my iPad, he goes, what's your Apple ID password? And I was like, oh, he said, oh, I'm just gonna try doing this thing. We'll return it to factory settings unless there's anything on there that you really want. And I was like, wow, that's a brilliant idea. So he fixed it for me. He sorted it out. And then I had a problem with my Audible app, and I said, oh, I don't know why. It's just every time my screen goes off, if it's in my pocket, the app stops playing, and it didn't used to do that. And he managed to sort that out for me as well. And I just literally felt that, and a message on the same day from my lovely friend Ali, who I need to show you some yarn she sent me. Every now and again, she'll send me a little care package, totally out the blue. She's so naughty for doing this, and I just don't know how I can ever kind of not repay her, because she doesn't do it to be repaid, but I just don't know how I can give to her what she's given to me. Does that make sense? She sent a message about being hyperstimulated and being a sensitive person, and boundaries and explanations, and she just in this message sorted me out and made me realise why it was really good idea to limit my Pinterest and my Instagram, because I was just super stimulated all the time. I was hyper inspired all the time. I wanted to make all the things and learn all the things and go all the places and cook all the stuff, and just it was all adding to my overwhelm. And also I'm quite an empathetic person, so if one of my friends is going through something, I can really feel that with them. And whereas in the past I was able to compartmentalise that, and I could feel it, and I could empathise, and I could really be with them to support them, it was getting to the point where I couldn't wash myself free of that when I didn't need to feel it. And so I was walking around feeling everybody's pain. And with COVID, people have been in a lot of anguish. So I was getting in a bit of a pickle. So Toby fixing my iPad just made me feel, and out of the blue, without me asking him, just the next day, just sorting it out for me, just made me feel so nurtured and loved. Sounds ridiculous, but you know, when Toby makes me a cup of tea in my favourite mug, I feel similarly. I just love it. That's more special to me than all the diamonds and fancy things. If he brings me a cup of tea in my favourite mug, I'm a happy girl. Yeah, so that coincided with a lovely message that I got from Ali. I can't remember why I was telling you that, other than yarn. I've gone off on a right tangent, haven't I? Anyway, I hope I have answered my own question or finished my own story. I don't think that I have. Anyway, I'm just going to go into my Ravelry. Hang on. See, the only problem with going into returning to factory settings is it might not have remembered my password, which means I might have to scratch my bum and try and remember what that was. Oh no, it has, that's good. See my tummy then, I'm getting hungry. All right. Oh look, you can see all my chaos reflected. So these are the socks, Liberty Lace Socks by Beki Norman. Aren't they lovely? What's nice about this is there's detail on the back, but it's not completely on the back seam, it's either side. And although this looks really fancy, it's actually very, nearly dropped it. It's very easy. The way Becky's written this pattern is, look, there we are, Beki Norman. Oops. There we go. The way Beki's written this pattern is that she's written it with all the lace detail. But I think that she talks you through putting in your own favourite heels. So it's more of a guide for the heels rather than writing out all of those different heels. She just guides you where to put in your favourite heel, the one that fits you the best, which I think is really good. I have recently found that the heel on this sock, the heels that Karen knits on these socks, is a French heel. Can you see that? I'm not very bendy. Can't touch my toes. Never have, but then that's because I've got a dodgy hip. Yeah, French heel fits me better than a square heel because of the shape of my funny feet. My funny, gigantic feet. And what? Oh, I hope the soles of my foot wasn't dirty because I've lost my slippers. I don't know where I've left them. I told you, my house and my head is cluttered and scattered. I don't even know where my slippers are, man. Nicely linking up. Oh, I didn't say. Beki's given me a Liberty Lace sock pattern to give away here on the podcast. So, well, I don't know why I was talking like that. So what you need to do, if you want to win a sock pattern, which Bex will put directly into your Ravelry, or if you're not on Ravelry, she'll email you a copy, a PDF. You just need to say in the comments below, I love the Liberty Lace socks. Okay? I love the Liberty Lace socks. And then the random comment picker can just identify that comment and pick a winner from it, from those comments. Yeah, and to enter on Instagram when I do it, it'll be a similar thing, but you just have to be a follower and like the picture for both myself and Bex. So I mean, I'm just assuming that you guys here enjoy my videos and click like, and I'm assuming that you are subscribers and that's how you found me. But if you haven't, I'd love for you to come back. So if you subscribe, you will get notified when there's another video. I'd love to see you again. So on Instagram, I am tales.from.cuckooland. So dot between everything except... Is there a dot between the cuckoo and the land? Oh, I don't know. I don't even know my own handle. It's here. Itchy eye. I'm lucky to have that eye still after Bunny gouged it yesterday. So Bex then, when I was at her house and we were doing the spinning, she'd just finished these gorgeous socks, and another pattern I think she's writing up in a yarn, which was a yarn club by the Dotty Wool Company called He's My Lobster. You're My Lobster. And as I was saying, I keep breaking my own rules. So one of my own rules is to steer away from nylon being in my life because it's plastic. Couldn't resist. Just look at this. That's the label. That's nice. Look at the yarn. Oh, I love it so much. I'm going to cast this on my birthday. It's going to be my birthday cast on. And I'm going to do contrast heel toes and cuff, I think. No, contrast heels and toes. I'm going to keep this as a cuff. I'm just going to have a fertile around to see what yarn I've got that will go well. It's just so pretty. And I thought about it for days. So I went to Beck's house on Tuesday, and Friday evening I weakened. I'd had a glass of wine and that was it. I hopped onto Etsy. So she's the Dotty Wool Company on Etsy, and she's a lovely seller. And this is season 2 Friends Yarn Club, and it's 365 meters, 100 grams, 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So yeah, superwash is another thing I'm trying to veer away from. This is literally like confession time, isn't it? Right, we are moving into the yarn piggery. When I went to the Lay Family Yarn Retreat back in 2019, I bought a skein of this yarn, Tiger's Eye. It's very similar to the yarn I've knitted my Flossie socks, which is Dandelion and Dogwood. Call your dad, you're in a cult. But this has got, it's not so uniform, it's more tonal, and it's got flex. Hello, my love.
Hello.
You alright?
Could you drop me off at the farm, like, so I can be there for 2:15?
Yeah, what's the time now?
I don't know. It's not any time soon.
Yeah, it's only 1 o'clock now.
I can't even bother to walk in the rain.
Oh, I know, it's horrid out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drop you off. Oh, well, that's brilliant. I'll drop you off because I can take Lizzie her birthday present. Yay! Get off my sock blocker or I will thump you in the guts.
Bye.
Thank you.
What's this actually meant to do?
You put it on your knitted socks so you can show them off on a podcast. I know.
Still recording?
Yeah. I know. We're a bunch of sad creatures. Get off my...
What's this?
It's a quilting ruler.
Why do you need a special ruler and you can just have a normal one?
Because you can cut with the mat and the...
Oh, makes sense.
I can't remember any of my words.
Can I grab a please?
Yeah. What is that called? Rotary cutter. Yeah, so it is very similar, but it's very different. And I bought a skein of this when I was at the retreat, and I decided I was going to knit a ranunculus with it. And then I decided I was going to knit a ranunculus with sleeves, so I needed another one. So I hopped on and I bought another one. Ooh, it's lovely. I love it. And then talking about Ali, who spoils me rotten. Oh, I've made such a mess of these. She sent me these. How beautiful. So this is Woolly Mammoth Fibres, 4-ply, natural sock. I think this is her BFL and Cheviot. It doesn't say on the ball bands, but it's her natural sock base. And it's all naturally dyed as well. So lovely. I'm thinking of doing stripy socks with this. But then because it's not got the nylon in it, I'm thinking I have got some little reels of nylon, a bit like cotton thread that you knit in with your sock yarn. So that means that, and I bought it about 4 or 5 years ago, that means that I could knit that in just on like the heel flap and the heel turn, just to reinforce that area, because that's where my socks tend to go. And then I haven't got the whole sock in nylon, because the whole sock doesn't need to be nylon. And then when that's worn out, I'm going to try the mohair thing, not kid silk mohair because that's not as strong, but just general mohair. I'm going to try that and see how that goes. But then, you know, I like darning, I like sewing, so it's not a problem. So that's another acquisition. 2 more acquisitions. got this ages ago. This is from Fernhill Farm. You can smell the sheep. I feel like I've told you about this before. It's DK. It's unwashed, but it has been processed and scoured. It is clean. You might find a few bits of grass now and again, but it's lamb's wool. 100 grams is 195 meters. So it's DK. I said that, didn't I? And it's Fernhill Farm, which is in the village where one of Wilfred's best buddies lives. So it's very local to me. In fact, you know, on my last vlog when I was driving along going, oh, what a beautiful place. That is where Fernhill Farm is. So I ordered a cone of this. Now, very exciting. I have got 2 fleeces coming my way from a friend of a friend of a friend, because that's how it works round here, who has 2 Valais lambs. They're the cute sheep that look like teddy bears with the black faces and the black socks. Now, an adult Valais, I think, is ordinarily the yarn, the wool is used for carpets, but if you get the baby yarn, the lambs, like their first shearing, it's soft enough to have as a garment. I'll come back to that in a mo. So I've got these 2 fleeces coming to me for free. I need to think of a thank you gift, but they were just going to get composted. Here we go. What are you eating? Is it any good? Is it? It did look so funny though.
Okay, it's the best one you've ever made.
No way.
Yeah, really good.
Oh, I'm really hungry. I'm going to have poached eggs and sourdough then. Oh, I'm chuffed to bits. Come and show your teeth.
No.
Come on. Come and show your teeth.
No.
Yeah, so I'm getting these fleeces because they were going to be composted. And this Fernhill Fibre, I've emailed them, but the email keeps bouncing back, so I might need to give them a ring tomorrow when it's not bank holiday. And they offer a service where you can send in your, I understand that you can send in your fleece and you can have it blended with some of their fleece. So I was thinking that would be brilliant. And they'll even dye it for you, but I actually quite fancy naturally dyeing it myself, because I had a few books, didn't I, for Christmas on natural dyeing. And it is something that I want to pursue. And I've got a few things in my garden that I can use for natural dyes. And I like all of those kind of subtle colours, so that you can often get. And Granny's got a couple of oak trees in her garden, so I've got her on a mission to save any of the oak galls because they make a really nice brown colour. Yeah, so I'm potentially going to have my own yarn made, which is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, but didn't really know how to go about it or where to start. But Heather and Hops, so Kat from Heather and Hops, her and her husband have done it, and I bought some of their yarn specifically because they've used Valais sheep, and so it was like the universe was giving me a gift, because on the Saturday morning that I found out about these fleeces that were up for grabs, I then watched in the afternoon or the evening Kat's video about her yarn that she'd got and she was selling on Ko-fi. So I hopped onto Ko-fi, I bought some. Just go and get it. Right. So she does all of her thank you labels herself. So she's like a one-woman production. Gaynor, thank you so much for supporting this little step and for letting me be a part of your knitting journey. I hope you love this yarn. With joy and gratitude, Kat. So, here it is. Here is the yarn. It's beautiful. And I bought 4 skeins, so I'll definitely be able to do something substantial with it. There's 260 meters roughly to 100 grams. So that will make a little crop jumper of some sort. And I love it. Some bits have woven up really thin with really thick. Some of it is completely uniform. And it's just gorgeous. And it smells lovely. And she's had hers. Hers is the Valais Black Nose 50%. And she had it blended with 50% Jacobs yarn. I have no idea how much yarn 2 fleeces blended with another whatever you need is going to yield. I have absolutely no idea. If I end up with more yarn than I know what to do with, and if it costs me an absolute fortune, I might have to sell some of it. But then that would be fun as well, wouldn't it? That would be another adventure. I feel very excited about all of my knitting and my knitting plans and what I'm doing and what's going to happen yarn-wise in the future. However, even good things tend to overwhelm me, so I kind of have to just park it for a bit. Try not to think about it too much. I've just thought of another yarn acquisition. Oh, goodness! Hold on! Right. There's a girl really local to me in like 6 miles that way. And recently she set up her own Etsy shop doing naturally dyed yarn on yarn that she bought from, I believe she works with Fernhill Fibre. Who are these guys? Yes, she does. I'm just scratching my brain internally trying to work out whether I'm correct or not. So she's called Wool Matters Fibre Company. She's a Swiss girl called Alice, and she lives in a town not too far away. And I don't know what she dyed this with. She's just called it soft green. It's a naturally dyed yarn. She does it in an interesting way. She tends to steer away from applying heat because she tries to do it as environmentally friendly as possible, and using as few resources as possible. So she'll do it in just massive vats that have been stewing for 3-4 weeks, and she gets some incredible colours. So I ordered some of this. It's a sock. I think it doesn't say it's a sock yarn. It might not be a sock yarn. I might have to use it for something else. But it's got 50% blue-faced, Exmoor blue-faced, 30% Devon blue-faced Leicester, and 20% Devon Wensleydale. And it does feel quite strong. I might send her a message and see if it would do for a sock yarn, but I just love it. I love the colour. And I wanted to support her because she was setting up, she was brand new, and I stumbled across her through a yarn shop that's pretty near me as well, called Alternate, clever name, Alternate Universe. Kim put out Vlogmas, so I was watching her Vlogmas, and Alice was in Vlogmas. And yeah, I just thought, well, I want to get in on that. I want some of that yarn. And then I was moving my rhubarb plant, and I knew that rhubarb root can yield a very nice dye. So I messaged Alice and said, do you want some of this rhubarb root? So she came and picked up some rhubarb root. So at some point, I think she's done some dyeing. I think she's done some dyeing already with the rhubarb root. I might have to check. because I'm not spending much time on Instagram anymore, I'm really, really out of touch. But it definitely does me good to just make everything quieter in my brain, and getting hyper inspired and overstimulated it's not good. It's not good for me. I just need to chill out. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up now. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. The comment that you leave, what I mean is leave a comment if you want to enter the sock pattern giveaway by Beki. I love Liberty lace socks. That's the key phrase. Goodness me, I don't think I've ever done a podcast or a vlog as long as this one. It's going to take you about 4 or 5 sessions to watch this one. Some people hate a long podcast, don't they? Yeah, some people will think, oh no, that's way too long. And some people will think, yay, it's like a movie. Right, I'm way too overexcited now. I need to go and lie down. Bye.
Now push it to the right a bit.
Well done.
I'll do. Stop.
Happy little fella.
How do I go down?
Push it down, forwards a bit.
Well, you'll never learn unless you try.